thank you to everybody who's joining us tonight. My name is Tammy Dietrich. I'm the Assistant Dean for the School of Business at the College of New Jersey, and we were really hoping to have you on campus. We like to do Accepted Students Day in person. It's a really big tradition for us at TCNJ, and we have our faculty and students come talk to you. So we're doing the best we can tonight in bringing our faculty and students to you online. What we're going to do is have some of our faculty and students tell about their experience at TCNJ, maybe a little bit about what they do, and for our students, what they're doing after graduation. We want to encourage everyone to participate in this discussion. It's not just a listening session. We want to know what is important to you. So if it's your first time using Zoom, or as a reminder, if you move your cursor towards the bottom of the screen, you'll see the chat box is there. When you open the chat box, you can type a message and you can specify who it goes to. Because we do want this to be discussion based, make sure that you type your messages to everyone. And when you ask your questions, one of our students will be monitoring this, and we'll jump in to make sure that we answer your questions. So please use the chat box at any time. Make sure that you keep your microphones on mute in case you have any barking dogs in the background, or little siblings with video games. But we're so glad you're here. This is the College of New Jersey session for accepted management students. And we might have some couple guests as well. We have some undeclared majors that are still making a decision down the road, and this could be influential for them as well. So I'm going to hand this over to our chair of the management department, who is Dr. Neves. So Dr. Neves, if you can say hi, and we're kicking it off to you.
All right. Wonderful to see a lot of names. Sometimes I teach with a lot of names. I love to see faces. I understand you may not be willing to share your faces. That's fine. At least the faces you see are all TCNJ people. They are all unashamed, all very happy to be here. And my name, just in case, it appears as Joao, but my name is Neves. It's very easy to reach me. Just spell 7 backwards. Right? Neves, 7 backwards at TCNJ, and that's it. So I teach, I've been a professor for many, many years, and I would like to introduce my colleagues and wonderful students who I invited to be here, and they will tell their story to you. Professor Prensky, just wave.
Whoa.
Professor Pretsky teaches our senior seminar in management, and you will see him either in the first year or in the last year. So he is a very, very experienced teacher, very understanding, deep knowledge of the fields he teaches. Professor Wang, right there, he is a recent professor. We hired him last year to teach supply chain management, a very important area of management that we want to strengthen. And Professor Han, right there, yes, he teaches us strategy and also entrepreneurship. And so currently is teaching strategy at both undergrad and the graduate program. And we are very happy to have them all here. They will all talk about the school and what they have to offer. I invited 3 students, Rachel Cohen, to say hi. She will speak momentarily, and Mikhail.
Hi.
And Juan Carlos.
Hi, everyone.
And they're all management seniors and about to graduate. So if they ask us to turn off our mics, they will tell you the truth about us. And but I'm sure you can all contact them. They are very, very happy. I believe they are very happy to be here and to be here tonight. So I'll pass on the the host to Dave. Dave, would you like to say some things? And then we'll ask questions.
Okay, as Dr. Nevis said, I teach senior seminar, and I also teach a freshman seminar. So you may have seen that one of the things our students do in their first semester is take an FSP, the first seminar program. And that's a small class with a professor on a special topic of interest to the professors. Then I also teach our introductions to management and marketing. And I came to academia after spending some years, about 10 years in the advertising business. So.
Yeah. And when Dr. Presky says teaches seminars, the seminars are very, very small, 15, some seminars and others, 18 students. So in a sense, it's a personal education, really personal education, and participation at every class. You cannot hide. You have to know your stuff. You have to be willing to participate. Henry?
And if you want to hear the true story about that, you ask Juan Carlos. He's in my seminar this semester.
All right. Henry, would you like to say a few words?
Okay, so I teach strategy, as Professor Nevis said. So the strategy is kind of the class you take in the last semester. It's a capstone course we have for management. It basically integrate everything you learned in your 4 years here in the business school, and try to use everything you learned and help you to make a strategic decision which can create competitive advantage for the company.
Good. Wonderful. Shengbing or Dr. Wang?
Sure. Hi, everyone. So this is actually my first year. So I joined TCNJ last fall semester. So far, I have been enjoy working here very, very much. We got a lot of amazing students here. And then I basically teach operations management and supply chain management. So for supply chain management, we got a very high demand for jobs in the job market. So a lot of my students who graduate this year, they already got offers from Amazon, from Johnson & Johnson. So it's a very popular area. I hope you can consider as your major and also concentration in the future.
Rachel?
What would you like?
Would you like to say anything?
No, I'm okay for right now.
Okay, Michaela.
Hi, my name is Mikhail. I'm a senior management major, as they mentioned, and well, congratulations to getting accepted to TCNJ. It's a great school. I've had an absolute great experience here, and I'm very sad to leave. I wish I could be in your shoes right now. I actually was waitlisted from TCNJ, and I committed to Montclair State University, and then I got accepted to TCNJ, and that was probably one of the hardest decisions I've ever had to make, because I didn't want to go away to school at first, and then I pushed myself to go away to school, and now here I am at TCNJ, and I'm very happy that I made this decision. And I also came to TCNJ as an undeclared major. I was very confused on what I wanted to do with my future, and then I chose management, and I had a great experience as a management major. All the professors are awesome, and you take many, many different business classes, such as like accounting and finance and marketing, all throughout it, and they expose you to a lot of different fields that will help prepare you for your future. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask about our experiences. I would love to share more.
Yes, and Juan Carlos, I don't know if you're ready, but if you're not ready, I will make a contrast. I think Mikhail was great at pointing out that we don't always know what management is. We don't know the difference between management or marketing or finance or whatnot, so, or economics or accounting. So those are big areas, and I just want to tell you a little story. Management is about people, right? If you don't want to deal with people, you shouldn't be here. So, right, my trick question is to ask students like you, do you want to be good employees? And if the student says, I want to be a good employee, of course, right? That's a trick question, because I don't want anyone who wants to be a good employee. I would like you to be a good manager, a manager that understands others, that understands what needs to be done, right? And so that is not afraid of giving directions or of communicating with others. So I think that's the core of management. Many professions, many jobs, many tasks will come across you, but the core, the central issue of management is managing employees while at work. It's not a game. It is about a work environment and understanding that. Finance is about managing money. Marketing is about managing people, but as customers, completely different thing. Dave put in your 2 cents, but marketing is about products and customers, so to speak. And accounting is about reporting. It's just boring. So if you want something that is exciting in the sense of you're dealing with people and you enjoy interacting with others and giving direction to others, we will definitely want you here. And I open up the floor to questions. I see a name like Nick and Jesse and Angel and Hector, Andrew, Alex, Alyssa, Ryan, Naya, Robert, Ryan, Dipadi, Ashmi, Tazan, I hope I said it correctly, Giovanni, and 2 people on the phone. Maybe I missed someone, Derek. And many more on the next screen. So please ask us questions, and we'll try our best to answer your questions. Anyone?
We do have a question. It's from Hector. Are any of the professors or seniors entrepreneurs themselves or had any high-ranking positions in other businesses?
Okay.
Me personally, no, but
I mean, so there is an entrepreneurship course here at TCNJ that you can take, and the professor who teaches it, which is Carla Falone, she herself is an entrepreneur, and there's things such as the Mayo Business Plan competition in which students have the opportunity to come up with their own products or services, and they get to compete to win for money to support their product or service. So there's definitely a lot of entrepreneurship among TCNJ students as well as some of the faculty as well.
Okay. I don't have a position in a business. I own property. I own. My wife has a small business. So when I say small business, I don't say 500 employees, like the federal government considers 500 employees still a small business. It's a micro business, but I have had many business dealings. I had a consulting firm at one time, and but nothing currently, other than my wife's business.
Then we have another question from Jesse. Are there any classes that aren't required for management but recommended by any students? I have to actually think about that. So if anybody else has anything.
Yes.
I've taken a handful of great classes throughout my 4 years. We do have to take a bunch of liberal learning classes that are required by the school, and I actually loved being able to take those classes because they expose you to like many other types of, like I had to take sociology and psychology just to like fulfill other things, and it exposes you to other things besides business, which is awesome. But if I think of any classes, I will let you know in particular.
Yeah, so personally for me, like a lot of like the management elective courses that I've taken at TCNJ were some of my favorite ones that I've actually taken. So Professor Neves has a course called Negotiation. So I took that as one of my electives. Definitely one of my favorite courses I've taken here, cross-cultural management. Those are all electives that, you know, management students can take to fulfill the elective requirement. They're not, you don't have to take any particular elective, but there's definitely some that are awesome, and you get a chance to meet older students when you come to TCNJ who definitely help you find your way and give you those recommendations as to which classes you should take or maybe steer clear of.
That's true. There's some faculty should stay away from. We have to be very upfront with that, and you will know that from interacting with your classmates and through the Vine, and yeah. When you say electives, actually required courses are very few, probably 20% or less. Then you have a category that it's required topic, but you have options, right? You have to have 2 marketing courses. Well, but it's not a required course, right? And then you have required fields. Yes, you have to have liberal learning courses, but there are different fields, and there's lots and lots of options. And then there are the true electives. You can do whatever you want. What I actually recommend to our students is be broad in your area, and try to major in a minor. Now, some people may take a minor, some people take 2 minors. There are 2 ways of thinking. Sometimes students take a minor that's very close to your area. If you're a business major, if you're in management, why should you take a minor in marketing? You know, or vice versa. If you're a marketing major, I'd discourage a management minor. Not completely discouraged because it's my area, but I'm not really excited about it. But it could be something in statistics, in a language, in computer science, something in history, something that will actually broaden your views and also deepen your knowledge of an area rather than being scattered all over 10 different areas. Juan Carlos, you're back on the phone. Would you like to add anything to the conversation?
Yes. First, I'll just introduce myself. Sorry, I had some camera difficulties that I get on my phone. But my name is Juan Carlos Belmonte. I'm a management major here at TCNJ. A couple things I do on campus. I'm a TCNJ ambassador. I'm also in the ROTC program. So after I graduate, I'll be commissioning and I'll be going into the National Guard as an aviation pilot. And I'm trying to continue my education at Rutgers for a public administration master's degree. So I'm planning to use my management. I'm a double major, so I'm a political science and management double major. So I'm trying to do that mixture of public management.
Do we have a future politician here? Right? Okay. No, thank you. Thank you for that. Any advice on areas to take, electives to take, things of that sort?
My advice is I came in as an accounting major. And I switched to management, and then I also picked up a major in political science. So my advice is to really broaden the different courses you take at TCNJ. Management is such a great major just because you take many different disciplines along with the major. And don't be afraid to try new things. Also, just moving past the academics, really getting involved on campus is super important at TCNJ. That's where you're going to build those relationships and connections that will be extremely important as you progress through your career.
Great, thank you. Thank you. So I see a couple of questions. Is there any sort of combined, I'm sorry, Tammy.
Just before we go any further, we also have Eddie with us, another student. So we just had one. So if Eddie could say something about his TCNJ experience.
Yes, please.
Yes, hi.
Please. I apologize.
It's all good. Thank you. Hi, guys. My name's Eddie. I'm a senior here at TCNJ, a management major, and I'm actually a transfer student. So I came in from Meriden Valley Community College, and I've had a really good time here. I'm presently employed by Novo Nordisk in Plainsboro, pharmaceutical company. So I think it's just been really a good experience here at TCNJ, preparing me, if not, you know, for Novo Nordisk, then for whatever else I may do.
Are you in the HR track, or did you take courses in human resources management?
So
Or
I actually, I'm sorry to cut you off there, but I actually did not. I actually ended up going with just the general management track.
Sure.
But what I think is interesting is that even then, this general management major just prepared me so well for working in HR, which is what I do at Novo Nordisk, just because you are exposed to so many different lines of business, and having that prior knowledge about, you know, accounting and marketing and all these other departments that I come into contact with is really essential, and not zeroing in too much on human resources, because you learn a lot along the way.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. So I don't know if I should move to some of the questions, Tammy, on the chat. Okay, so I see, is there any sort of combined degree program such as 4+1 MBA program? No, there isn't, not currently. And we just started an MBA program last year, and we are very proud about that. And there's ramblings at the college that they will open up 4+1 programs as well. Currently not. By the time you graduate, most likely, or I don't know in what areas, but I'm sure there will be, I'm not sure. I'm almost sure that there will be some areas that will open up some version of a 4.1 master's program. I'm not sure if it will be an MBA, but it will be some kind of a master's program. What percentage of students choose human resource concentration? That's a tough one, because if a student doesn't know very much what a management program is, very, very few students have an idea of what an HRM major is, unless the parents or someone in their family is in HR. It's very difficult for a student to say, I want that specificity, right? So if the percentage of people who join the HR concentration in year 0, when you enter, we will probably admit 20 or 25 students, maybe at the most 5 will pick that, right? But when they graduate, more than that will graduate as HR, because it's true for other majors as well. It's very easy to move from one track to another. There are exceptions. To go to engineering to management is easy. To go to management to engineering is difficult, right? So from biology to finance is easy. From finance to biology is difficult. But within the School of Business is relatively easy. It's sometimes is a formality to go from one major to the other, and within tracks it's even easier. So you can come in as HR and then switch to supply chain management or something else, or you can come in as management and then move into HR or marketing or whatever. As long as it's done in the first two years is easy. Are there any other questions?
I hope that you're seeing a common theme in what the students and Dr. Nevis said, which is that when you come to college, you should spend some time exploring your options, and then you'll know that the major you've chosen is what you're really interested in, and you'll also have that broad foundation that will make you a much more attractive potential employee when you go out. And you don't want to focus all of your attention on one thing. You don't want to take, as much as we like management, you don't want to take 30 management courses. We're not going to let you, but you don't want to anyway. You really do want to get that broad foundation. And indeed, you are going to. The business program requires you to take a little bit of accounting and a little bit of marketing and a little bit of finance and a little bit of, so that you really can, as Eddie was saying, you're capable of going into the workplace and being able to talk to the folks from other functions. So you do want to think about that. You don't want to lock yourself in too quickly.
Yeah, pursue what you like. And I will say something from an academic point of view. A rigorous course is better than 10 light courses, right? If it's a rigorous history course, for instance, it's better than 5 light management courses, because what we are here to offer you is an opportunity for you to think about a subject matter. So the opportunity for you to deepen your knowledge in an area, and then that will be a reward in the way you think throughout your life. So yeah, some students choose the easy paths, easy courses, and so forth. I think none of the students you will see here chose that. They have had a great career, and they enjoy their courses, I believe, because they are rigorous, not because they were easy, right?
I see one of the questions says, what are some of the internship opportunities that the management students had? Eddie has already said that he's been working with Novo Nordisk, but for any of our other students, can you share either an internship you've had or one you're in the middle of applying for right now?
Of course. To start off, TCNJ actually, they have a career fair. Is it twice a year or once a year?
Twice.
Twice a year.
It's twice.
Twice a year, where it gives you the opportunity to bring resumes to the career fair, and there's, I want to say, about 100 companies that are there, and you can walk around the career fair and you can bring up your resume and you can talk to employees from different companies to share your resumes and to network and to potentially get internships from the career fair. Aside from that, I had the opportunity to intern at Prudential Financial in Newark for 2 summers, and then now I have a full-time position waiting for me this coming summer. So without TCNJ, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to intern there, and all my background at TCNJ helped me prepare for that. So that was great.
Well, I had 84% of students have an internship when they graduate, have had an internship when they graduate. So it's not that we don't think about it. We think about it all the time. It's wonderful for the student to get not only confidence, but also experience and connect what they're learning with what their jobs will be. So I think it's wonderful. One of the questions is also, Tammy, what are the steps for becoming a paid intern? Is that within our college, or is an internship? I took it like it was a paid position within the school of, within TCNJ, but maybe not.
Sure. So we can answer it both ways. We don't have internships within the college. We do have paid research assistantships, okay, where you can get paid for working on real live research with one of your faculty. You get paid about $11 an hour. It just went up from 10, you know, we're moving here. And you're working with faculty member on some kind of research that they're actually trying to publish. So if you're really lucky, you can be a published author by the time you graduate. Other than that, our internships are external. We have a website called Handshake. It's similar to any other job search engine that's out there, except that it's run through our Career Center. So we're vetting everything, making sure that all the opportunities are legitimate, that they're quality experiences. And all of them as they come in are coded if they're paid or not. So if you're looking for a paid internship, you can filter your search on that. And we find that over 50% of internships are paid right now. Sometimes it's minimum wage, or sometimes it's over $20 an hour. Like some of the ones with J&J, they're really competitive, but they pay really well. So if you want to limit your search to paid internships, you can do that. It's really up to you. You can also do internships for credit or not for credit. You can do them over the summer, you can do them during a semester, with a lot of opportunities and flexibility, because to any extent possible, if you can do one, we want to support you in doing one.
Okay, thank you. Angel, you asked, is there a job placement rate for management students? There's nothing specific for each department. We don't have a person who places management majors per se. We are not that big. Robert Nikolic, what makes the TCNJ Business School stand out from other college business schools? You will judge. I'm sure you have visited other schools. I'll tell you what I think, and then I'll ask our 4 students to give their opinions, and maybe someone will chime in. I think something that is not, you should never forget are 2 things. Really small classes, right? So really small classes means it's very personal instruction, an exercise, a discussion. It's really in your face. If you take a class with Dr. Han, you have to face him, and you have to answer him, and interact in a very dynamic way. Well, another aspect that differentiates us from the much larger schools that have many more courses, many more programs of study, right? We are not Rutgers, we are not Penn, right? We cannot compete in the number of fields that we offer, right? So we are not trying to say we are a big university. We are a small, high quality, high touch college, right? And the biggest difference, please write this down if you want. The biggest difference is you don't have any teaching assistants, right? The professor who is at the head of the course and designed the course is going to be there grading your papers, they're going to be there making up your tests. And it's a huge difference, because my son went to a much larger university, and he never met the good name professor. It was just a name, right? But there was nothing connecting him with the person that appeared in the college catalog, so to speak. So small classes, 1, and then the professors are the professors. They're not teaching TAs. And Rachel or Mikhail or Addie or Juan Carlos, I don't know if you would like to add any comparisons with what your classmate, your friends from school, your friends say, your friends who are at other colleges and universities say. Eddie, I don't know if you would like to say something. Juan?
Yeah, I can say a few things. At least from my friends who have been in business school, maybe at the Rowan or another college, that they're not going to work as hard to retain you. Like I know one of my friends dropped out because he didn't like the courses he was in and stuff like that. At TCNJ, so the biggest thing is that we're really into community. And you're gonna be a part of a business community, people who are very motivated, who want to learn, who want to network, and you're gonna feel that, and that's gonna help us be able to retain you in our program, and you're gonna be more likely to succeed throughout your academic career and your social life, which is almost just as important, is getting that life experience as well.
I think there's a really positive snowball effect to the class sizes that I really didn't see coming until I actually sat in a TCNJ classroom. And that was, I think Dr. Neves alluded to it, that you have to face your professor, right? You have to face your classmates oftentimes. There's so much group work that when you go, even if it's just an internship for a couple months over the summer, you're going to be prepared for interpersonal skills, business skills. You're going to know how to work in a team. You're going to know how to interact with people. Again, other lines of business, other majors, whatever background your professor has, you're just going to learn to really absorb from a lot of people. And I think that's the bottom line with business, even just working, for the few months I have. It's really, really important to know, first and foremost, to have interpersonal skills, and everything else you can learn as it comes. It's been really unbelievably good to have those class sizes. It's like the number one thing for me.
Great. Thank you. Jesse, Alyssa, Ryan, Ashmi, any questions? Dazan, Naya, please don't be bashful. Turn on your, Tammy, can they unmute themselves?
Yeah, I mean, they're in full control.
Okay, so you can unmute your speaker and ask us a question, or you can type, but there's nothing wrong with asking a question. Nick.
I had a quick question. So I'm a transfer student from another university, and I was just wondering, what's the alumni network like at TCNJ? I know a lot of schools, you know, the alumni like to come back, talk with students. You did touch upon job prospects and things like that, but do you really see a lot of alumni coming back and trying to help students, whether it's they come in as a guest speaker in a class on a subject or about their job experience and what that's like?
I see Rachel, Eddie, and Juan Carlos nodding, so please jump ahead of me.
Yeah, so I would definitely say that a lot of TCNJ alumni come back. The School of Business offers Wednesday talks like once a month, in which you see a lot of TCNJ alumni come back, and they'll be able to like talk about their career paths, and you got a chance to network with them afterward. And a lot of professors do bring in like previous students who do the same thing, where they share their career, what they're doing with their life, and you get a chance to network with them and potentially get jobs or internships.
Yeah, I could chime in as well. Like they're doing this really cool like senior programming thing for networking, and I know that they're having we're having an industry insiders webinar for alumni who are within the like in sports, the business of sports. There's a bunch of people who, let's see, I can read right now. A bunch of people who are executives at different pro sports teams, Philadelphia Eagles and New York Jets. So we do have people who are involved in different industries, and that's just one example of we're pulling from our alumni base people to give us insight about that specific industry through what we have, which is online right now.
Eddie, you were going to say something, or should we move on?
I would just agree with Rachel. Even in the short time that I've been here, I saw plenty of guest speakers that were alumni, and there's certainly a lot that they have to offer. And it feels like I think someone mentioned earlier, there's a sense of community. So it definitely feels like when the alumni come to speak, they come with a purpose, and they really care about TCNJ even after their time here.
Yeah,
I'm not a student, but if I can just jump in here, Nick, as a transfer, I would have you in class for a Business 99 section, and all of you are going to take Business 99 in some way, shape, or form. It's part college orientation, part welcome to how to be a successful business student. We meet with you every Wednesday for an hour, and when I say we, it's us as staff, but then it's all the upperclassmen that are mentors. And we put you in groups so that you can really learn the ropes from your upperclassmen students who have been there before. And Eddie is one of them as well. So just as an example, you do activities every week, but then we also talk about like what's really helpful and what are things that you wish you knew sooner so that you're not a senior discovering these great secrets. But what we're also going to do is work on your LinkedIn profile, your resume, basics of interviewing. And we want you to connect on LinkedIn as soon as possible, because you don't connect once you're an alum. Just the fact that you're a student in our business school, that makes you an alum already. So jump in and become part of our TCNJ School of Business Alumni Network and use that network as soon as possible. So just 2 cents about Business 99.
Thank you.
Thank you. There's another question from the chat. What kind of business clubs are available at TCNJ? Who would like to answer this? A student.
They have a handful of different types of business clubs. I was personally involved in a club called Women's Business Organization, and then PSE. There are 2 different business clubs, and you can get as involved as you want, or you can just attend meetings when they have them weekly. And they're definitely very helpful. And the same thing, they bring alumni back to speak and talk about their experiences. And they have marketing clubs and entrepreneur clubs. There's all different types of clubs. And when you come, you'll be able to find more.
And even if there isn't a club for something that you're interested in, you always have the chance to actually start one yourself as well. So that's always an option.
And there are many cultural clubs that have nothing to do with business per se, but they will integrate you and connect you with your interests or with your peers. So I think our college is very akin to that sense of community, and community is built. It's not random. It's there's a lot of people hired to just promote those type of initiatives. And are there any business law related courses? Yes, there are. So we have actually one of the required courses. It's a law course. So that you cannot escape. And then particularly to management, there's one that is employment law, right? And that's a part of the HR major. So you should take that course as part of the HR major, and any business major, including management, can take that course. A good portion of our majors, believe it or not, or it's not difficult to believe, will choose to go to law school after they graduate. So it's a common path. It's not, management is seen as, one part of management is seen as less quantitative, more conceptual, and in that sense has some affinity with a business degree. But yes, you can have, and I may be missing one or two other courses.
There's an international law course and there's an intellectual property course, and we actually have 3 full-time faculty who teach law courses.
Correct. That's great. So they belong, so to speak. They're a part of a different department. It's called IDB, interdisciplinary business program, but they teach courses for the entire school, and many of their management students end up taking law courses with them. If you have an eye on going to law school, the course on international business law, the course on property, what is it called? Property rights? No.
Intellectual property.
International intellectual property course. Those are, they will be preparing you for law school. But why do that if you can take sociology or Spanish or Japanese or whatnot and broaden your vistas, and then leave the law courses to law school? That's fine as well. Law school does not require you to take law as an undergraduate, as you may or may not know. Okay.
Yes.
Juan? Okay.
Oh, I was just gonna say that we have a pre-law track, so you can major in anything, and then you'd be a part of this pre-law track where you would take many of the same classes that are offered within the business school in the interdisciplinary, but you'd also take other classes within pre-law that would range between political science, sociology, so a wide range of courses that would prepare you for the LSAT, as well as, and then you'd be focusing on management or business in general. So you'll get a good mix, prepare you for law school and business law if that's what you want to go into.
All right, I have another question, and I'll answer, and then I'll ask the students to answer again. And Henry or Shanbei or Dave, please chime in as well. What do the job fairs for business look like? How useful are they? A job fair is an informal place where you will meet many booths of many different companies with 5 or 6 people behind each booth, and there's no, as far as I understand, there's no appointment with any of them, and you approach them, and you have you have your CV with you, and you approach them and you start asking questions about them. about their companies and so forth. It is how useful are they? I have my opinion. They are very useful in one very important way. They make you come out of your shell, right? It's like suddenly you have been a very good student. You have been seriously thinking about what you want to do, what you don't want to do. You have very little idea of what a company is like. And now you are asking a stranger to look at you or to do small talk. And the importance of small talk is enormous, right? It's enormous because in their minds is how confident you are, how confident, how approachable you are, right? And in that sense is an enormous effort. You will grow so much from that impact on a very informal setting, right? And then they will say to you, I would like to have a copy of your resume, or they don't say anything. And if they don't say anything, you may not see them again, or you may, because they say, okay, send in your resume via email or whatnot. We would like to talk with you again. That interchange, I think, makes you grow enormously, right? So, and it gets you to be known. In 1 hour, you can distribute 20 copies of your resume. But instead of being emailed to 200 companies, is 20 companies where you found out a name or you gave your name more personally to than impersonal email. So please, Eddie or Juan or Rachel or Mikhail, I don't know if you would like to add anything. Anyone?
One of the cool
Henry,
things. Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry, Professor Henry, which I call him Henry. On your screen appears as Shu, but he meets with students in his senior class, and he will explain this better, luncheons with students to find out what their ideas are about a business or whatnot. And that too is part of your growing up. That too is also part of finding out what is inside you, right? And so I don't know, Henry, if you would like to say anything or.
Yeah, I think everything you said is definitely true. I think in terms of job, I think it's more important. The more important is the first step is for the students to, get the first touch with the real world. Either it's through the job fair or either through the internship, right? And either through just the cold email to someone in a company. I think that first step is very important. And then finding a job, I think, is more like a probability game, right? You have to make enough effort, right, in order to land one offer, right? So, but making that first step is definitely critical.
Yeah, thank you. And Juan, I'm sorry I cut you off.
Oh, no problem. I was just saying, one of the cool things about TCNJ career fairs is typically it'll be prior alumni who come back and they then come and recruit TCNJ students. So it's really personable when you go and talk to people because most of the time they're also TCNJ alum. So career fairs can be pretty useful. It's all about getting, touch points with recruiters. So you might meet a recruiter who's tabling in the School of Business, and you might talk to them there. Then you might send them an email saying that you're looking forward to talking to them at the career fair. And then you talk to them at the career fair, and then you send them a follow-up email, stuff like that. And you're starting to build, a personal relationship with your recruiter. It might turn into something, it might not. But I think the cool thing is that you're going to have alumni come back and try to recruit you, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. And the barrier is not as high as it would have been if they didn't know anything about our school. Rachel, Eddie, or Mikhail, any thoughts? No. What percentage? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say it's a great way to network and make connections with people, and just be sure to add them on LinkedIn after and thank them for their time with speaking with you. And it's a great way to practice how to make connections and network, which is super important for the future.
Great, great. What percentage of students are hired to a full-time job within a year? All right, I'm quoting numbers that Professor Prensky put on your chat box. You can go to the website, at the college website, career.tcnj.edu. You will see these statistics. It says 98.1% of the 2018 class had one or more job offers, 98.1%. 93% of the respondents got a job. I think are pretty common percentages for our school. It's not like a 1 year off. These are regularly very, very high percentages. And if you enter TCNJ, something that Juan Carlos was saying that made a lot of sense to me, should make a lot of sense to you. The care that the College of New Jersey has in keeping you satisfied. So it's called, I believe it's called retention rate. How many of the entering class ends up graduating? Meaning how many of the entering class does not give up or leave to greener pastures, right? Because you can come in and you are very happy coming in or not so happy coming in, and then you are not happy with what we are doing and you leave. And so retention rates are very important. And then of those who remain, which are very high percentage of them will get jobs. And that's great. That's I think what we do. And all right, you have Tassan has a question for Juan Carlos. I don't know if Juan Carlos, can you read the question?
Yes, I'll read it out.
Right.
The question is, how was your experience as a political science / business major, and how rigorous was it being a double major? So one of the cool things at TCNJ is a lot of the courses double count. So since I'm a double major, I don't have to take any language courses. I guess that's because of business, but there's a lot of courses that double count. And because they double count, it makes it a little easier to be able to fit a larger course load into both majors. I mean, I had to take a few extra courses, and I overloaded a couple semesters, but it's definitely doable. And I would definitely say it's a great experience, especially if you are trying to be a double major in poli-sci, just because TCNJ is great in terms of location, because you can get internships in Trenton, which is our capital. We're also located, 45 minutes from Philadelphia and about 40 to 50 to an hour from New York City. So you can pull from a lot of different internships and travel to different areas. I hope that answered your question. We can talk offline later if you want to talk a little bit more about that.
And when Juan Carlos says double count, is every degree has to do the liberal learning component. If you have 2 degrees, you don't do the liberal learning component twice, obviously. And some other courses may double count. And so we want you to broaden your vistas, if you will, right? We don't want you to be so narrow-minded, so narrowly focused that you only see accounting or you only see, I don't know, some lab courses. Even the people who are in chemistry have to, they're not in the lab all day long, or right? So that's the part of being in a college like ours. All right, Youssef, I don't know when you came in, and I don't think I saw your name before. Angel, Hector, Alex, I would like to hear from you. Ashmi, I don't know if you are there or not. I assume you are, but we love interaction. Any questions?
I think we had one before that might not have been answered.
Okay, maybe.
About psychology. I don't know if one of the students wants to take that or faculty.
Oh, I see. How can psychology be integrated into business without HR?
So I think I definitely have a lot of thoughts on this one, because even not taking the HR track, I've seen that a lot of the management courses kind of dip into a lot of psychology concepts. And especially as you get higher up in the classes, you talk a lot about business ethics, you talk a lot about organizational behavior. I mean, these are all classes where a lot of central themes stem from psychology, and definitely gets you thinking in that direction. And that's me just having taken introductory psychology. I mean, I see it and definitely feels applicable.
I will show my ignorance probably, but I don't know if you will notice. In my understanding, psychology has two very large branches: clinical psychology and industrial psychology. Maybe it has more branches, I'm not so sure. David, you interject whenever you want, you can, right?
It's got more diversity than that, certainly, but yeah.
Social psychology and all that stuff. I don't know. But I would say those who want to pursue a profession in psychology and clinical psychology usually they don't take our courses. We have a lot of psychology majors that take our courses, our management courses, and our management majors who take psychology minors in the area of more of the area of industrial psychology, which is another way of looking at management. It's a way of looking at management more focused on the individual psychological state rather than on the productivity of the employee, right? In management, we take things on the side of, yes, we understand you, we want to work with you, but you still have to be effective in your job.
I have some students from psychology major who are taking my class right now. So, and also I think they're more interested in like marketing courses, like consumer behavior, some other courses like that.
So to answer your question, it's very common to have psych majors in our classes, and our majors taking some psychology classes, but not so much the ones that are trying to fix you in a sense of fixing your psychological problems or family issues and so forth. That would be more of a clinical use of psychology. I think we are a little different from that, but yeah. And psychology, a lot of the psychology professions, I don't, Dave, please correct me. A lot of the psychology professions require a PhD, require some kind of advanced degree. HR does not require.
Yeah. To be a clinical psychologist or to teach psychology, you would need a doctorate.
You need a doctorate, and it's a much longer career. But it's not true for management. So you can do both. You can do both, and then decide later what area to pursue.
Yeah, another way to think about this is that it's like that management and marketing, for that matter, are in large part applied sociology and applied psychology and applied anthropology, and applied in business settings. So you're going to see a lot of psychological and sociological principles in your management courses or your marketing courses.
Yeah, I would love our students to take sociology. Very, very relevant to understanding people in their environments, and very well.
Yeah, speaking of environment, we had a question before about, is there any business specific housing? So can one of our students that started as a freshman talk about how they chose their housing?
Okay.
Yeah, so when you come in as a freshman, you have a freshman seminar program, and your housing is basically selected for you based off of which seminar program you're placed into, which is typically a mix of all different majors. Mine was more business related, so a majority of my floor actually was business majors. But after your freshman year, you get to pick where you live and who you live with, which gives you a chance to then live with business students if you choose to. But, you know, you meet a lot of different people here who have all different majors. So, you know, you can live with people who have all different majors than you do.
That was great. Thank you. And then I also saw a question that said, other than becoming certified in Bloomberg and Excel, are there any other certifications that make you stand out? I know from my perspective, I'll just jump in and say that we have the premium level of access to LinkedIn, and we encourage all the students to go on to LinkedIn. And they have courses now that when you complete them, you get a badge, and it shows you've invested the time and taken a test to get that badge. So that's one way that we're seeing college students differentiate themselves, and that's going on at a lot of colleges right now. So don't overlook that, because you're going to be competing with students graduating from these other schools in 4 very short years. So I'll throw out LinkedIn. Other than that, I'm not familiar with any other certifications that we're offering right now, other than adding a minor and being able to promote that. Because we have our faculty here, and someone asked before about positions they hold, if our faculty don't mind, just real quick, I know we're down to the last few minutes here, but real quick, could you just say, like, what are your main research interests? Like, what is your passion? Because a lot of times you open up the world to our students.
Okay. I will start. My passion has been negotiation. I teach negotiation course, which Rachel, it's the best course in east of the Mississippi. I'm just kidding. But I do research in negotiation, and I love it. It's very, very interactive. It's almost a game, but it's a very rational game.
All right. Who's next?
Well, my interests are really in higher education, so higher education management. And the seminars that I teach are both in higher education. The first seminar is higher education policy. So if you think back to the last year that you've spent thinking about applying to colleges and then applying to colleges and financial aid and all that stuff, that's all the result of higher education policy decision that governors and legislators make about what higher education should look like. And then in the senior level, which is the course that Juan Carlos is in, we look at managing in higher education institutions, managing colleges and universities as though they were businesses, and then thinking about what all that means.
Thanks.
My research is in operations and supply chain management. I do I publish in inventory management area, and also transportation, logistics, and also disaster management. You know, which is really a fitting topic in the current period, the coronavirus. So and also I did research in demand forecasting and also transshipment between different retailers.
Okay. Henry?
So my research is mostly in the intersection between strategy and entrepreneurship. So one topic very interesting is business model innovation, trying to think about how startup companies can come up with new ways to kind of disrupt large organizations, right? Like, you know, what I'm looking at is basically how fintech companies actually disrupt the business of large banks. Another part of it is to think more from the large company side, is talking about corporate entrepreneurship. I try to think about how these large organizations can over their bureaucratic structure and try to kind of come up also with innovation and some entrepreneur initiative in order to kind of defend those attacks from startup companies.
Okay, great. Thank you. We're about to end, Tammy, is that?
Yeah, we're gonna wrap up with any final questions. We're actually 5 minutes over, but that's a great problem to have. Yeah. I see we just got a new question though. What's the typical classroom environment for a business student? Is it more hands-on or more lecture-based?
students?
It typically just depends on the class and the professor teaching the class. Some classes are more hands-on and you're constantly speaking and interacting and you have group projects, while other classes are more lecture-based, but it really just depends on the class that you're taking.
Eddie or Juan or Rachel? Same?
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends. It's a good mix. It's friendly. It's small, right? It's the most there are is 3 rows of chairs, right? There's nothing like an auditorium with 20 different rows or 30 different rows. It's just at the most 3 rows. Some of the classes are around a table, and just very, I think, friendly and welcoming. I would like to end by doing something that you should know. There are 3 other faculty members who could not be here today. They are Brenda Gitulescu, right? They happen to be 3 women, and we are a very diversified department. And for whatever reason, they could not be here. So Dr. Gitulescu teaches management. Dr. Wahida Lilovic teaches HR courses, right? She's also very friendly, very knowledgeable. And Dr. Kim, Jinsil Kim, teaches strategy and international business as well. Very, very popular teacher. So you will have a highly, if you come, and I do hope you come to join our program, you will join a very interactive group of faculty, right? It's just, I think there's our hallmark, I would say. Our courses are very popular, and we interact as we should. We interact with students in a very dynamic way, and we'll help you become confident and do similar things as we do. So anyone would like to add final words? Tammy, thank you so much. Rachel, it was wonderful to see you again. And Mikhail, the same way. Thank you so much for joining us. Juan Carlos, wonderful. And Eddie, thank you so much for agreeing to be here. I think this lasted a lot longer than I thought, which is probably a good sign. And Alex and Angel and Jesse, Alyssa, Ryan, Naya, Robert Nikolich, the Yankee fan, the Ashmi, the Kazan, the Derek, Yusuf, and the 2 phone numbers that I have no idea, but you know how to find me. What is my name? Derek, what is my name? Ryan, what is my name? Easy. Anyone would like to try? Alyssa? Nick Esposito? Oh my gosh.
Oh, they typed it in the chat box.
All right, 7 backwards.
7 backwards.
You're a winner. Great, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone.
Hey.
All right.
All right, see you later.
Wednesday, right?
I'm sorry?
See you Wednesday.
See you Wednesday. Yeah, will be interesting.
Great. Take care.
Take care. Thank you. Thanks for doing this.
My pleasure.
Thank you.